we spoke to Amit Jain, the MD and Chairman of Arkade Developers, post their listings, and my colleague Anushi spoke to Mr. Amit Jain, and here's a slice of it.
We are into residential real estate markets in MMR region, and we have projects across western suburbs as well eastern suburbs, and we are looking at new markets of Thane as well. Currently, we are having 10 ongoing projects, and broadly it is a mix of new projects as well redevelopment projects. So in western suburbs where there is scarcity of land parcels, we are into redevelopment projects, and in eastern suburbs we have new land projects which are acquired by the company on outright basis. Currently, like we have projects equivalent to around say 4,000 crore projects which we are targeting to complete in around 3 years. So this year we are looking at 1,000 crore sale, and on a year-on-year basis we intend to target a CAGR of 25 to 30%.
Okay, so 1,000 crore of pre-sales that you target for this year and a 25% of growth going forward for the business.
Yeah.
Mr. Jain, give a sense of the proceeds that you're going to be using forward from the IPO now. You're going to be acquiring more land for other projects as well, and also to develop some of the key ongoing projects. Can you highlight some of the key ongoing projects that you currently have, and what's the outlook for these as we move forward?
So our initial public offering is for 430 crore, out of which we have raised 20 crore by the means of pre-IPO, and 410 crore was the fresh issue, initial public offering. The objects of this IPO broadly is two categories. One is to suffice funds for approvals of 3 of our ongoing projects, and the second main object is towards payment of fresh lands to be acquired for development. The 3 ongoing projects where funds will be going for approvals are Arkade Nest, Arkade Pearl, and Arkade Eden. Nest is a new project in Mulund, and Pearl and Eden are redevelopment projects in Vile Parle and Malad. This is where the funds are going to be deployed.
All right, that's
so 250 crore is for the approvals, and the remaining say 150 to 180 crore is for general corporate purpose and fresh land acquisition.
So, Mr. Jain, you mentioned that most of the projects that we are seeing are for the MMR region, and Thane being a new market that you're looking at.
Yeah.
Any scope for beyond expansion, beyond these areas that we are looking at? Are we targeting any new cities as we move forward with the business in the next 2 to 3 years?
Bombay is a very mature market, which makes it safer, and the demand for properties in Bombay is insatiable. So currently we see enough potential in Bombay to explore. Okay. And we find it very safe, yeah.
Okay, so the focus will continue to remain on the MMR region for now. Moving on to the next question, now you've given a brief sense of how the pre-sales number will continue to look forward. You've seen about 1,000 crore of a figure. Want to understand on to the collection side, if you had to look at FY23 to 24 side, you've reported about a significant jump in your collections. Can you give us an outline? What is the type of collections, the cash flows that one should be expecting for the next 2 to 3 years for the business?
Again, our cash flows are broadly similar or parallel to pre-sales figures, because we believe in selling only as good as the progress of the project is. So if a project is completed 50% in terms of construction progress, we normally see to it that our sales are also 50%. So the collections are broadly similar to the pre-sales figure, plus or minus 10%.
All right, so collections will remain in line with the pre-sales number as you speak at. Now, I wanted to understand your perspective on whether, when you're deciding between a development project on your own land versus a redevelopment project, what is the kind of outlook that you have when selecting between the two across a region?
So land definitely is the first preferred option, because like land is kind of first love, the returns in new development projects is much more than the redevelopment project. Redevelopment project on the other side are lesser capital intensive, but they are equally more competitive. fresh development projects are more capital intensive, but then the returns are much better than redevelopment projects. So first preference is always fresh projects, but then we also know that there is a scarcity of land in Mumbai, so redevelopment becomes inevitably a mandatory option, to venture into if you are required to be present in Mumbai. More so in western suburb, lands have become extinct. So redevelopment is the future.
Mr. Jain, you mentioned about scarcity of land in Mumbai. Can you expand more on what is the industry level perspective if you are to just take MMR as a region, whether it be the pricing trends or the inventory levels as we speak? Even if you look at the first quarter of this year, there have been a lack of launches as compared to last year. Want to just understand your industry-wide perspective on this market?
No, like Bombay, we've always seen growth in terms of influx of people and which is resultant into demand growth. The first quarter of the year, the first financial quarter that we are talking is normally a little lull, but then as we enter second and third quarters where we see festivities, the demand always picks up.
All right, and now coming to my final question is on the debt levels. I want to understand what are your current debt levels. If we had to look at your the debt to equity ratio from FY 22-23, it has gone down significantly to about 0.2. And this is from the 0.7x level. Are we expected to continue to stay at these levels, or we can see
our
us?
company is very, very sensitive to debts. This 0.2 debt also is internal promoters debt. There is zero external debt currently. Like we've seen people suffer a lot who are exposed to debt. Their major cash flow goes towards the interest payment, and which effectively converts into a red balance sheet. So we are very sensitive to debt, and that is why you will not see bigger debt in our books.
Okay.
And with this added capital, I don't see the need also to get into a debt trap.
All right, that was Mr. Amit Jain from Arkade Developers telling us an outlook for the company. And if we check the listing, since listing it's gained around 24%, but today it's down around 4%. So it did list at a premium of 37%, but we are seeing some profit booking today and it's down around 4% as we speak.